Cops don't like me, so I don't like cops.
Badges don't grant extra rights. This is CopBlock Radio on the FPRN Radio Network. Here are your hosts, Eric, Adam, and Scott.
And welcome everybody to the CopBlock Radio Show live on FPRN. Today is September 25th, 2013. And it seems like we can't go with a full crew. So this week it's Scott who's ditching us. So I have Adam with me.
Yeah, it is entertainment stuff there, right there. One of us bouncing out every week the last couple of weeks.
Well, it's helpful because we have three hosts, so at least one person isn't being left high and dry and having to go on by themselves.
Yep, no, it's worked out. It has.
So, wow, so much has been going on near me. I don't even know where to start. So, if you have anything that happened near you, you can go for it.
Well, recently near me, I moved into my new place. I've been just crazy, hectic, busy with that. That's why I missed last week's show, trying to move. Still been moving stuff, but I had a little bit of incident happen today, but I forgot my phone, so I didn't get any evidence of it, which kind of sucked. I was a little pissed off about it, but cop parking on the corner of the intersection right up on the sidewalk where the sidewalk dips down for the crosswalk. And he was across the street watching a high school football game while talking on his cell phone. So I found that a little interesting there. You know, if I would have parked there, I'm sure I would have got a nice ticket, but he seemed to sit there and watch high school football games and park on the sidewalk. So I thought that was nice.
Fun. Did you see the video that Adamo posted with the cop sitting in a private lot? I
did not.
Oh,
I said I've been so busy. I haven't been on the computer like at all. Been just trying to move.
Adamo just posted something that there was a cop sitting in a private parking lot, and he's like, "Do you have permission to be in this private parking lot?" Blah blah blah. It was pretty entertaining. He posted it up on the Facebook page today, I believe. It might have been yesterday, but
I will have to check that out.
Yeah, you'll have to go check that. I totally forgot what I was going to talk about. But anyways, so I was going to say something. I know what we were going to do. So this show is live, so we can take some callers. We have no guests tonight. So if you have something you want to talk about, you can get a hold of us through the preferred method of Skype at FPRN Radio Live. If you add them, they can add you back. So that's FPRN Radio Live, all one word. Or you can call into the show 567-314-9296 and then hit 1234 pound for the passcode, and you can get in and talk about what's going on in your neck of the woods if you got something to tell us. So it's been a pretty interesting couple days out here in Keene, New Hampshire. We have been going out doing cop watch pretty much, it has been every Friday night for the past 6 Fridays in a row. And we live in a small college town. There's only like 24,000 people in this town. So the college makes up quite a big hunk of the close to downtown area. So there's always college kids and there's tons of frats, and the school has a reputation for being pretty much a party school. It's not the geniuses who come to this particular college, so you can see there where this is going. I think it's constantly on the list of the top party schools in the country. So so there's actually a city ordinance that is a noise ordinance that goes into effect at 11 p.m. which we all know that the college kids aren't going to be turning in at 11 p.m. on a Friday night or a Saturday night or a Thursday night for that matter, apparently. So we're out there. We've pretty much been going out. I've been going out at 9 p.m. The guy who I'm usually with, he sometimes is down there as early as 7, just kind of doing outreach, handing out flyers and whatnot. So now it's great because we're just like riding down the sidewalk on our bikes and everybody's like, hey, it's the CopBlock guys. Yeah, CopBlock. It's awesome because everybody knows who we are and what we're doing. So
that's awesome.
That's a plus. Yeah. And actually, on Friday night, somebody called my buddy's cell phone directly about something that was going on that we didn't even hear over the scanner. So we jetted over there and we're videotaping we weren't really sure what it was. Maybe it was public intoxication or something like that. I don't know. It was in the parking lot of a pizza joint, but it wasn't a traffic stop or anything. So we're not 100% sure what it ended up being, or maybe it was an open container or something like that. We have a stupid ordinance about that too. So you can't have an open container of alcohol in public.
Is that on campus also?
What?
Is that also on campus too?
Yes, because technically that's like public property.
Yeah.
There's a lot of road and public and sidewalks that go through it, so yeah, unless you're in a patio of somebody who's gotten permission to have picnic tables and whatnot within the public sphere, like on the sidewalk downtown, the little cafe or whatever. We have a few bars that bleed out onto the street. So anyways, we have been going out from 9 p.m. We've pretty much had coverage from 9 p.m. till 2:30 to 3 a.m. every Friday for the past 6 weeks, which has been awesome. So there's this one bike cop that Centurion, who is basically my Friday night cop blocking partner, Centurion has a real issue with this guy because he loves to he writes a lot of open container. He is really sneaky and like hides in the bushes on his bike, waiting for college kids to walk from one house to another.
Waiting for that evil college kid with his beer to walk across the street.
Right, he sights them while they're walking from one house across the street to the other house. Or he, they're having a party on their private property and he coaxes them out to step foot onto the sidewalk and then he sights them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's bad. Like, this guy's a
cheap.
total douchebag. His name's Matt Griffin. His badge number is 182. Which is great because in Keene, when they mark on the radio, they mark with their badge number. So it's easy to tell who's talking on the radio, so that's great. So anyways, he is a total douchebag and is constantly writing open container and unlawful possession. And he is actually the assistant coach of the college lacrosse team. So that right there should tell you something, that there's a slight conflict here. If he's the assistant coach of the college lacrosse team and he's citing all these college kids, well, I wonder what he does when he comes across one of his players. So Centurion had contacted the police department here and asked, well, isn't that a conflict of interest for a police officer who constantly patrols on the college, works at the college in a separate capacity in his off-duty hours? And they're like, no, it's not. It's like, well, he's probably letting all of his players get away with a whole bunch of things and citing all these other kids. And who knows what type of loyalties these players may have, and maybe he's asking them to call in if they see anything so he can get more arrests or more citations and whatnot.
Yeah.
So we got a hold of a story probably 3 or 2 weeks ago, where this guy got a supposed 911 call to this house, which was like a duplex, or it might have been a triplex. There's 3 apartments in the house or whatever. And he knocks on the door, and the girls foolishly open. Well, there's not a whole lot you can do with it there, but they open the door, and he insists that a 911 hang-up call came from the house. And they're like, what are you talking about? We don't even have a landline. So how could anybody have had a 911 hang-up from this house? And the other 2 apartments in the house don't have landlines either. So how could they possibly get a hang-up from the house? Well, we have gone through and looked at the records, and the call did not come from anybody who lived at the house. It actually came from a campus security number, which really makes no sense on why a campus security number would have a hang-up to the 911 dispatcher. That would make no sense. Why would campus security hang up on 911 without giving any information and all that? So
yeah,
we have a request in to the state to pull the call so we can hear what actually happened in the call. But anyways, so he went to the house. The girls opened the door. Somehow he made his way into the house against the consent of the inhabitants.
Yeah.
They said that he wasn't allowed in, and of course he makes his way in and ends up citing them with possession of an extremely small amount of marijuana and paraphernalia. So they had a pipe that had some residue in it or something like that. So
yeah.
Anyways, they got cited of that. So he gets his little star on his chest that, hey, you cited these young girls for having some pot, and got called by a phony 911 call. So why the hell were you there in the first place? So that's one thing we're looking into now, and unfortunately they won't release the 911 call until after the girls go through all the court crap. So we're kind of hanging on that one. And then, so fast forward to what happened on Saturday night. We were just riding up and down the street, and then come 11 o'clock, we know they're going to start enforcing sound ordinance stuff. So we stumbled across a relatively loud party. It was about 11:15 at that point, and we're like, they're going to get a call to this location. Lo and behold, 2 minutes later, after we're sitting outside of the party waiting for this to happen because we know it's going to happen, we hear the call come over the radio, and Centurion runs across the street and starts yelling that the cops are coming. We just heard it over the radio. Hey, the cops are coming. You might want to quiet down a little bit. 15 seconds later, that bike cop shows up. He was already there when the call happened.
Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. So anyways, he shows up, and then 2 minutes later, another cop shows up, and then they start clearing out the party from the side and backyards, and then the two cops walk back to the bike cop to his bike, and the car was parked right next to the bike. So they're standing in front of their modes of transportation, and a guy walks up to the bike cop, who is also the lacrosse coach, and he's talking to him for a minute. And then he turns around and makes a beeline directly for Centurion, who is recording he was standing on the sidewalk, and he was just recording what was going on. And he comes straight up to him and said, "What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. You have to get out of here." And he's like, "I'm standing on a public sidewalk, dude." and he is just, I don't know what the hell his problem was, but anyways, he ended up hitting Centurion's camera, and then he brought it back up, and then he hits it again, and he hits it again, and this is all in front of the two police officers. They saw the whole thing, and instead of taking the aggressor away, who was trying to, or was essentially assaulting my friend, they end up backing my friend across the street to the other side of the street. It's like, well, this guy was hitting him, so why aren't you doing anything to him? He basically witnessed the assault right in front of him and did nothing. And when my buddy asked the cop to identify his assailant, he refused to do so. So he's across the street, and then he starts walking back across the street to the side that he was, and the cop backs him back across the street. So we're both standing on the other side of the street, and the kid who had a problem with my buddy starts yelling across the street at him, and making fun of what he's wearing, and then he ends up coming across the street. And this is in front of now a third cop had showed up, so now there's 3 cops watching this whole thing. And this guy who has already hit my friend 3 times in the hand is starting to come across the street, and they do nothing. They just stand there. And he comes all the way across the street within 2 feet, and they're arguing back and forth for 20 seconds, and then he hits my friend in the face. And the cops still did nothing. Luckily, we had a bunch of guys who had surrounded us at that point and were friendly to us, and they were rather large guys, and he was not so big of a guy, so they kind of backed him across the street for us, which was nice. So after that happens, he's now been hit in the face. He hasn't just been hit in the hand now, where his camera was. He's been hit in the face, and we start walking down the sidewalk up to where the cops are, and another kid from the party comes across and starts yelling at my buddy again. And the third cop who had finally shown up on the scene, backed that guy away, and my buddy again asked, well, I want the identity of the kid who just hit me. He just hit me in the face. And they refused to do anything. So it's like, first, two of your officers saw the assailant hitting him in the hand, and then when he backed across the street, all 3 of you heard him and saw him yelling, and then hit my buddy in the face, and you guys do nothing, and they refuse to even identify the kid, which is really screwed up. So on, I believe it was Sunday, I had gone over to my buddy's house to get the videos off of his camera, because he's technologically impaired. he can shoot stuff on camera, but he doesn't. The computer thing is lost on him. He spent 20 years in the military, and he's been in like Iraq and Afghanistan for the past decade. So he doesn't know how to use a fucking computer and doesn't know how to use YouTube. So anyways, I went over there and I was downloading his video. He's like, and then he's like, I'm going to call this in and leave a message for the chief to let him know that, hey, I got assaulted in front of one of your officers and they refused to do anything. So he calls the non-emergency line to get the voicemail for the chief. Guess who picks up? The bike cop who saw the whole thing happen. So at that point, he didn't say who he was. He just said, hey, can I have the Kemuel's voicemail? Kemuel is the chief of police in Keene. And he tried to transfer him, and it ended up just looping back to the dispatch again. So he picked up again. He's like, you tried to transfer me, and it didn't work. He's like, oh, I'll try it again. So he tried to transfer him like 3 times, and he couldn't figure out how to use the phone system. So anyways, he's like, well, the dispatcher is just on break. He'll be back in 15 minutes. So if you want to call in, then you can get his voicemail. So at that point, he's like, "Hey, it's Centurion. You saw me get punched last Friday night, and I'm curious if you can identify who the person was." And he's like, "No, I don't know who it was." He's like, "It wasn't anybody on our team." He's like, No, I don't know who it was." And then my buddy threw out a name of a player on the team who we've gone through like the roster and looked at everybody's picture, and we think we figured out who it was. And he had a weird pause for a second, and it's like, "No, that wasn't him," and then like hung up.
So basically, one of his players for his team punched your friend.
That's what we're thinking.
And he doesn't want to admit it because then his player would get in trouble.
Right.
Aha.
So that's kind of where we stand right now. We haven't positively identified the guy yet, so we're not 100% sure if he's on the lacrosse team or if he used to be on the lacrosse team. We found one player that looked pretty much like him, and that's what he threw out that name on the phone call, and he gave a weird stumbling answer. So we're not 100% sure if it was him, but we'll see. So right now, Officer Matt Griffin is not in my buddy's good graces, and we have a ongoing investigation on that guy. And it's fun because he's a bike cop, so we just follow him around. We just follow him around on bikes for, whenever we're down there. Because if he's trying to elude us, he's at least not giving citations to kids who are holding a beer or whatever. So,
yeah, true.
So, this brings us to the one clip that I brought to the show tonight, and so about an hour later, we're out riding our bike around, and we come across said bike cop at Griffin again, and my buddy just talks and talks and talks. So if we can play clip 1.
Your own teammate, kid on your lacrosse team. I got you on video watching the assault, and I also have you on video saying you didn't see the assault, so I have you lying. So that's a double standard right there. You're all done. I'm going to see you in front of a judge, hopefully in front of a jury. Let them decide what's going to happen to you. You see a victim and not do anything about it, because you're a coward.
So it's so
Got
funny.
anything to say?
He's in New York who likes to talk a lot.
I mean, if you still want to arrest him for assault, I'll let the whole thing go. I'll let the judge know that I'm giving you an opportunity right now to expunge the whole entire situation if you go arrest him for assault right now.
He's down on the other street shouting threats.
Yeah, he actually threatened me right now, screaming and yelling, which is disorderly conduct. But you're not going to do anything about it, though, because he's your teammate. He's on your lacrosse team, isn't he? Conflict of interest. I have a nice letter going to the Keene State College, too, about the whole thing. I'm going to send the director a nice little video of you protecting him. You didn't remove him from me since he was the assailant, but you removed me from him.
Now, is that the cops?
You're committing a felony. Not acting upon an assault is a felony. And I put you under citizen's arrest, and you're failing to abide by that.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that part.
Yeah, he's straight ahead.
Right way.
You're heading right towards him, Mr. Griffin. Acting belligerent and drunk in the middle of the street. These guys ain't doing nothing. We just reported something to you.
Nah. My entourage.
He's another teammate, isn't he? He on your lacrosse team too? He's drunk in the middle of the street, barely walking, but you're ignoring him. Oh, I love this. I love the double standard, Matt. You're lucky you're not in New York, because IA would have dragged you into jail already. No hand signals either, huh? Isn't that a statute?
I love cop blocking them.
Well, when you have something on your person.
Well, as you can hear, he's obviously not intimidated by that officer at all.
Right.
That's Kyle Macy. You hear him laughing? You hear Kyle Macy laughing? We have him on video being a clown because they're just clowns, far from professional.
I got so much fun video of him. So yeah, you cut it off there. So yeah, it was really funny. I forgot about the citizen's arrest part. After the cop failed to do anything, he's like, "Well, I'm putting you under citizen's arrest then for failing to act upon an assault." And he's like, "No, I'm serious. Get back across the street. I didn't tell you to move. Get back across the street." It was really funny. He's great because he's won a lawsuit against the police department, so he can pretty much get up in their face and yell at them the whole time, and they won't do anything to him. It's great. It's awesome. That's why I love going out cop blocking with him, because he's so funny.
Well, yeah, he's not intimidated by him at all.
Right. He gets like right up there within a couple feet of like the scene and is recording the whole thing, and so I can stay back and take pictures and video and whatnot, and he just talks and talks and talks and talks. It's so great. So yeah, as you heard in there, Kyle Macy, he's another cop. He used to be a bike cop, but he's gotten kind of fat lately, so I think they took him off the bike. Though he was still dressed in his friggin' little bike shorts and even though he was driving a squad car.
Maybe he likes
really funny. But anyways, he was like following us around too in the car. Like everywhere we were, he was there with us. So it was pretty interesting that the guy in the car was following us around while we were riding around on bikes. So yeah, that was our Friday night. It was pretty interesting to say the least.
That's pretty awesome. Sounds like you guys had fun.
Yep. So we're going out again this Friday, every Friday. So actually,
every Friday.
Yep, we've been going out every Friday.
Nice.
We're trying to continue that. My buddy has been going out on Thursday to do some stuff by himself.
Yep.
Obviously, since they're not going to screw with him, he's fine going out and doing it by himself. I wouldn't suggest other people do that, but
no, not recommended at all.
No, not recommended. But this is Keene, New Hampshire, and they all know who he is, and they're not going to screw with him, so it's all good. So yeah, I actually have, by this time next week, I will have been arraigned for my failure to obey charge, but I'm still not really sure what I'm actually being charged with, so I guess I'll find out at the arraignment, because I haven't gotten any paperwork to say what the hell I've actually done, or what law specifically I've actually broken. They didn't give that to me. They didn't give me a complaint or anything when they arrested me from the checkpoint that night. So I will probably have more next week on that. I might actually have a actual statute that they're citing against me, but I'm just going to challenge their whole checkpoint to begin with. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, completely.
He already admitted that he didn't have any probable cause to stop me. So.
Oh yeah.
Well, why are you stopping me then?
Itself is legal anyway.
It's like, is this a DUI checkpoint? Why didn't you ask about drinking? You didn't. Yeah. You just asked me for my license and registration. And you asked two other guys the same thing and never asked them about drinking. So is this a DUI stop, or is this a show me your papers?
Nazi Germany, show me your papers.
Yeah, I know. So, after the break, we have more of the show to come. Make sure if you want to talk about something, you can get on Skype, FPRN Radio Live, or 567-314-9296, 1234 #, and you can talk about what you want. So stick through the break. You're listening to the CopBlock Radio Show on FPRN.
Vegas, the state's afraid to embrace space. I ain't this, I stated straight to his face. My race is the greatest.
In 1997, a high school shooting was stopped by a vice principal with a gun. In 1998, a middle school shooting was ended by a neighbor with a gun. In 2002, a terrorist attack was stopped by a school guard and a teacher with a gun. After September 11th, pilots began carrying guns to protect their passengers. Let's give our schools and teachers the same option. Sign the petition at defendschools.com.
Hi, I'm Trevor Moore. Due to the recent revelations that in order to fight terrorism, the NSA has been using a secret court order to spy on every single Verizon and AT&T customer, Americans have become outraged and concerned about their rights to privacy. But along with that concern comes a feeling of hopelessness. I mean, what can we do? Vote in new leaders? Well, the problem is that during an election, each candidate pretends to not be an asshole. Then when they get the job, they reveal that they've actually been a complete asshole this entire time. No, elections are of no use. The only way to fight back against our country's excessive wiretapping and data mining is to make it irrelevant. That's why we're launching Operation Everyone Talk Like a Terrorist all the time. If we all openly discuss terrorist plots in each of our phone conversations, then eavesdropping on those phone conversations becomes pointless. It's simple. We just need to work it into our daily vernacular. For example, instead of saying, "I love you," you could describe a terror attack. The larger the scale, the more you love the person.
Hi, Mom. I just got out of school. Can you pick me up?
I'll be there in 15 minutes. I'm going to use a truck bomb to blow up the Brooklyn Bridge.
I'm mailing anthrax to Cures to Morgan.
Or, nonsense about God's will being great could mean affirmative.
Hey, man, they have a 7:30 show, and do you think you can make it in time?
God is merciful and his love is unchanging. Did you already get me a ticket?
And those are just a few examples. You can make up your own. Have fun with it. But it's time for us to stand up and protect our rights. Because those assholes aren't going to.
Nothing is more American than Diamond Gusset jeans. 100% American made since 1987. Soft and broken in from the start, yet more rugged and durable than any jean you've ever worn. Have you ever experienced missized jeans from China? Well, you won't with Diamond Gusset. Every pair is crafted to fit exactly the same and always feel like they were custom made. Need a 35, 37, or 39 waist? How about a 31 inseam? We keep all sizes in stock for the fit you need. Looking for a relaxed fit, slim fit, regular fit, boot cut, or straight leg? We got you covered. Buy the world's best fitting jeans at Gusset.com or call 1-888-8-GUSSET. Get free Gusset targets for the next time you go to the shooting range with the purchase of their new Ranger jean. Use code COMFORT when ordering to receive free shipping on all Gusset orders at Gusset.com. That's Gusset.com to get only the best all-American jeans.
Hi, I'm Steve.
I'm Irene. I'm Lisa.
My name is Tom. I'm a graphic designer,
college freshman, stay-at-home mom with a full-time job,
scholar on social policy, and a barista.
And I'm just like you.
I'm an Obama supporter.
I support President Obama.
But the president needs your help.
Our president can't launch into another war without you. And remember, we promise to support him no matter what.
Together, we can do it.
That's why we here at the Americans for Whatever Barack Obama Wants, Did You Know He's Friends with Jay-Z, have launched a Kickstarter campaign to fund World War III.
And America is dead-ass broke, so our goal is to raise $1.6 trillion on behalf of the U.S. government.
That's where you come in.
Even a small donation would make all the difference.
When I first saw the president speak in 2008, in a YouTube clip posted to my Facebook page, I knew he was going to be right all the time. So I support World War III and IV and any moon war the president may want to start.
I mean, there is no way that he or the cabal of corporate interests, spy agencies, and shadow bankers that tell him what to do would ever mislead us. A $25 donation will get you a piece of rubble from a war-torn Middle Eastern country kissed by Senator Lindsey Graham.
A $100 donation gets you a day pass to leave your local refugee camp.
You'll probably end up in a refugee camp, but it'll have free Wi-Fi.
So please, Help us reach our goal of $1.6 trillion so we can make World War III a reality. Why? Because Obama.
Because Obama.
Thanks for listening to FPRN. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter. If you'd like to start your own show with FPRN, advertise with us, or donate to the network or to your favorite shows, check out our website at www.fprnradio.com.
And welcome back to the CopBlock Radio Show live on FPRN, or you can download us at a podcast after the show at FPRNradio.com. You just go into the archives and you can download it there, and then you can also link to the post that I put up on CopBlock.org with all the show notes and links to what we're talking about. So if you want to see the video that of us chasing down the cop, or the video from earlier in the night, I will post that up so you guys can see that. It'll be interesting. So with you tonight, it's Eric and Adam, back to the original lineup for the first time since we left YouTube.
Yeah, it is actually. This will be our first show, just me and you on FPRN.
So Dylan can't make, or Scotty can't make us tonight. So hopefully he'll be back next week, though. You know,
I would think so. We got some more exciting news. We finally got all of our logo graphic design all done and all shipped off to the screen printing place, so we should have our shirts done sometime this week.
See, I was at least smart, and when I asked for our logo, that was one of the requirements, is that had to be screen printable.
Well, that one had to be modified too.
Really?
It did.
That's amazing, because I asked
just slightly
to be solid. Yeah.
Not enough that you will never notice the difference.
Okay. Well, you know. At least we will finally have shirts at some point. And
yes.
Hopefully I can get a hoodie, because it's getting kind of cold out here.
Yep. Oh, that's another thing there. I just ordered myself up some new hoodies and shirts from the CopBlock.org store.
Cool. Yeah, we've ran out of the warning heavy police presence flyers. You can see those over at CopBlock.org/resources under the flyer section. And we had the nice postcard ones printed out. They're like 6 by 4 inches, high gloss on both sides. So we have completely run out of those. We handed out probably, I don't know, maybe 400 in the past couple weeks. So we have since gotten a hold of the original graphics, and we will be making a bigger print run, and it'll be specifically for the Keene location. So we'll have KeenCopBlock.org on it, and we've adjusted some of the wording to be more state specific, because the laws obviously differ from state to state. So the one that was up there was kind of generic. And we removed some stuff and put some QR codes on the back so people can quickly link to we have on KeenCopBlock.org, we have pictures and the badge number, email address, and phone number of all the Keene police officers. We don't have all the pictures yet, but we have all their contact info. I think we only have like 13 street level people left. But there's like a QR code, so you can quickly scan it on your phone, and it'll take you to the page with all the officers' pictures on it and their phone numbers and whatnot. So we'll have that on there. And then we have a quick link to the streaming police scanner that we have for the Keene Police Department as well. So we'll be printing out those, which is really cool that we managed to get a hold of the original graphic. So we've adjusted a few things, reworded some stuff, dropped some stuff, and we'll have nice region-specific ones coming out. So that'll be sweet.
Yeah.
And for any of the other groups, originally Megan McLean made that graphic, and I believe if you need anything, you can go to her, and I think she'll probably charge $100 to make it region specific, and then you can print to your heart's content. So it's kind of nice to have a localized piece of literature that's going to be nice, and it's going to be on the heavy cardstock and high gloss on each side, and it's going to be really sweet. It's actually not that bad of expense either. I think 5,000 of them from Liberty Activist Printing is $187, I believe. So that's pretty good. Especially because you can just, hand them out like candy pretty much.
Oh, completely. Yeah.
We've handed out so many of them. We just blew through all the ones that were left behind when Pete, after he left on his police accountability tour. By the way, did we ever get a clip from him this week?
I did not get a clip from him this week. I got nothing from him.
Oh man, he's slacking.
Yeah.
We'll see. So anyway,
I barely got that one sent off to you guys last week while I was moving, and you emailed me.
Yeah, so we've burned through all the literature that he had left behind with the activists here, so we have to print up more. So hopefully those will be on the street, not in 2 day Friday from now, but they should be out a week from this Friday. So we will be handing those out like crazy. So you got anything? Nothing. I can
at the moment, I'm spamming the internet with our show at the moment.
Okay. Oh yeah, just we need
some calls. Somebody needs to call the show. We need to talk to somebody.
Yeah. So if anybody has anything to talk about, you can Skype us at FPRN Radio Live. If you add them, they'll add you back, and then you can call up the show. That would be the preferred method because it sounds so much better. Or you can dial on the good old phone 567-314-9296, and then you have to hit 1234 pound for the passcode, and it'll get you into the queue, and you can let the producer know what you want to talk about, and he can bring you on. And for those who are listening to us as a podcast, we are live every Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. So that
6:30 Western Pacific Standard.
So that gives a good reason to listen live, because we have a live chat going on, and you can also call in and talk about what's going on in your neck of the woods, and can be a little more interactive with the show. So that's fun too. So we do this live. It's not just a podcast for those who are downloading it. So
you had a couple stories. I know you had posted up in the page we set up every week for stories.
Yeah, so there's one story. I think we might have even talked about it really early on, probably in like episode 2 or 3. If we talked about it
that long ago, huh?
Yeah. So here in New Hampshire, there was a Manchester police officer who was arrested on a hit and run. It was a pretty high profile case when it happened, and he was facing a Class B felony after the accident, which carries a 3.5 to 7 year prison sentence. He claimed he was fiddling with his cell phone when he hit 2 teenagers outside their home. So they were on foot. I don't think either of them died, but in classic you got my back, I got your back mentality of the justice system, his charges have been reduced from the Class B felony to a Class A misdemeanor, which carries the maximum penalty of 1 year in county jail, and can be, in New Hampshire, there's a 2/3 sentence for good behavior. So he could serve, 8 months on good behavior in jail instead of going 3.5 to 7 in prison for hitting some people outside their house and driving off. So if it was any other person, he would be facing the felony charges, but he's a cop and is not facing any major serious charges, which a normal individual would. And it was kind of weird that the state's law enforcement page, if you will, I think it's called New Hampshire Law Enforcement. I follow that page, and they were making a big deal out of it, like it was a good idea. Like it was a good thing. It was a good thing he wasn't charged with a felony for hitting people with his car. When it's a total double standard, and like all the comments were like, "Are you guys out of your mind? This is like ridiculous. This is exactly why everybody hates cops, because you guys get special treatment, and there's no way a regular person would ever get offered this type of major sentence reduction or charge reduction." So, yeah, it's kind of insane.
Yes.
You got anything? Any other stories you want to bring up?
Spammed the internet.
Oh, you're still going for that?
I just finished. I'm finally done.
Okay.
Sorry, I was just trying to spam the internet with our show.
All right. So it looks like we actually did get a caller.
We
did. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to say her name even if I wanted to. Do we have somebody on the line?
Yeah.
Yes? No?
Oh, a little louder. I can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm on.
Oh,
there you go.
Somehow I can't talk the minute I got on. Okay.
Sorry, what's your name?
Just call me Keep Truth Free.
That works.
Okay.
There's no way you can say my name anyway.
Okay.
Oh, good. So what's up, man?
I don't know. I talked before about I had a case that I beat, but another thing that happened to me, and this is what I was talking to Dio about, is while I was not here, I was arrested for something, some false charges in another state, so they picked an extradite me and all this crap, and then I get out of it completely because it's false. But while I was not here, my parents come in to take my cat to the kennel, and while they're here, they take the opportunity to call the cops and give away my guns to them.
What?
With no warrant, no nothing, not part of this case, just for fun. My parents are kind of anti-gun.
Mm-hmm.
They just gave them away.
So really, they stole your firearms.
Exactly.
Isn't that a felony?
I would think so. And then the cop, I have it on tape. I gave Dio a copy of the tape. The cop I called and he bragged about there was no warrant and my father let him in and that he was just keeping them for safekeeping or whatever. And then for fun, he claims that the one gun that was more expensive is stolen from out of state to another state. And I asked him, well, who's it stolen from? And he began stuttering, and you can hear him stuttering on the tape. If it was actually stolen from out of state, it's a federal charge. They would come and arrest me. They would charge me with something, right? But so he just wants to keep it for himself, basically.
And what state is this in?
What? Oh, I'm in Ohio, and he claimed that it was stolen from North Carolina, but he didn't have he didn't know where it was stolen from, and he began stuttering like he didn't really have an answer. He just sort of made something up on the fly there.
Right.
But if it was really a stolen firearm from another state, that's ATF.
Now, is this an ongoing issue right at this moment, or has this already been?
No, I mean it's not. I mean he just kept my stuff, and I haven't gotten anything back.
Huh. Now, have you filed any sort of paperwork with the department on it?
I don't know what kind of paperwork to file. I mean, I beat my own actual case with common law and all that stuff, but nobody seems to know what to do about this. They didn't leave any paperwork about having taken it. Nobody searched the apartment. They came right in, and my father showed them right where to go to take my stuff.
Now, were any of those? I don't fully believe in this concept, but were any of those guns registered in your name?
No, I got them through the gun show loophole.
Okay. Well, I'm not saying you have to or anything like that. I was just curious because they're in your name. Then technically, couldn't you report them stolen?
Well, there's no benefits to that. I mean, you don't want to register, especially when if you're in a state that allows the loophole.
Well, yes, no. I was just saying if it was that circumstance.
Right.
Now, what do you think, Eric? What should he do there? What would you do? Would you file a complaint, or what would you do to try to get your stuff back?
Admitting he did it. So I mean, it does exist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's another way to justify that it exists. The cops on tape bragging about it.
Right, and there's probably something in the call log and an incident number, and there's probably some paperwork shuffled somewhere.
Maybe not if he wants to keep it.
Well, right.
True.
Well, there should be a call at least that there's probably a dispatch log that he probably can't screw with. So he probably can say that he at least went to your house on said date. And if you didn't report what he actually did there, then, well, that's a whole nother problem. And we're talking about complaint forms and IA investigations and all that good stuff.
I was thinking about that. But then that's them investigating themselves.
It is.
What level of law enforcement was this from?
It's the Hamilton County Sheriff's in Cincinnati.
Oh shit! Well, then you're kind of at the top of the food chain right there.
Right.
You don't really have anywhere else to go.
Here's the tape. I just sent it to you over Skype.
Interesting.
I mean, I don't expect you to play it on the air. I mean, but I'm just saying there's a copy. You can hear it later.
All right. Yeah, we might. If it sounds good, we might cut it down for next week. But yeah, if it's a sheriff's, then I don't even know where to go from there, because that's kind of the top of the line. I guess you could bring the Stadies into it, or who knows? Maybe Department of Homeland Security. I think there's an office in Cincinnati.
I really trust them. I can't think of a more trustworthy group. I mean, I'd call ATF directly. I mean,
those are some good guys right there.
Oh yeah. We're such a farce of a system. Who do you go to to police the police?
Right, exactly. That's the biggest problem. There's no oversight, and they all work together. So
that's why I tape everything.
Right. Yeah. Man, that sucks. I don't even know what to tell you. That's just crazy. I would just hound them until you get your crap back. But
yeah. Well, I'm holding my parents responsible. I'm just going to file paperwork just to sue them. They were ultimately responsible for that, because they had the only key. And great, come get the cat, but don't take my property.
You know? Right. That's ridiculous. That they essentially stole your stuff.
Exactly.
Because they were the ones who stole it first before handing it over to the police.
Right.
That's nuts. Man, that's
I hate this whole presumption that you're somehow a criminal for having the Second Amendment. It's ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah, that's what people like Jones talk about. That people get this idea from the TV. They film the TV shows in cities where it is illegal to have your gun, so people get the idea that it's illegal everywhere. I mean, the show's always in New York City, so that's what you see. And so, yeah, if you had it in New York City, they go nuts. But in Ohio, it's perfectly okay.
Yeah, no, I never had any problems when I lived in Ohio carrying my firearm or anything like that.
It was in my closet. I mean, it wasn't doing anything. I wasn't even here, of course. So I don't know.
Well, hopefully you managed to get your stuff back. And
yeah, I'm working on it.
That kind of sucked to...
At least I beat the real charges. We talked about that a couple weeks ago, but that was all I was really worried about, was beating the real charges. I had these phony charges laid on me, one of which was felony. It was assault and battery by email, and then there's no email. I never sent an email. They didn't produce anything.
How can you batter somebody through email?
I don't know. To another state, no less. And then when it comes time to to give me the discovery papers, they didn't have anything. It was all just hearsay. Yeah.
Right, I'm looking forward in my case to find out what they give me in discovery, because it's probably going to be jack crap. So,
but yeah, try to make it through common law. The discovery was just fun, because I would never walk into their courtroom. You know what I mean? Do it with your notary and prepare your paperwork in advance, and just kill the cases separately. Don't go in there. That's nuts.
Somebody recently here got their discovery papers, and it had like their arrest record and whatnot, and it had like their statistics, like he's 5'10", whatever. And it was really funny because it said he talked with a southern drawl. I'm like, that guy has no southern drawl at all. It was a really weird attribute they gave to him.
Well, they in my discovery papers, they had the that NCIC that they're so proud of, this system, whatever, with your background check. Parking tickets, speeding ticket from the 80s and whatever. I mean, it's comprehensive, but I'm not a criminal, so there's nothing there.
Right. Man, well, best of luck to you on that. Call in again and update us on what's going on. If anything big happens, it'll be interesting to hear.
Cool.
Maybe somebody else can learn from you.
Yeah.
How to get your crap back when the police took it from you, or when somebody gave it to the police against your wishes.
I know. All right, I'll let you go.
All right, thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, thanks, man.
So yeah, man, that sucks.
Yeah,
I'm took my
still
crap.
kind of baffled by it.
I know. Any parents? Oh man, that would suck. If my parents gave my crap away to the cops, no less.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what do you do? Like, I don't want to press charges against my parents.
It's like I just sent you over to grab my cat, and you took my guns. That's not cool. There's nothing cool about
were
it.
you planning on shooting my cat or what?
Oh man, that's not cool.
Mm-mm. No.
So I'm not sure what else we want to cover tonight. Hopefully more people can call in, so we'll have somebody loaded up after the break. So if anybody has anything to talk about after the break, give us a call. Or give us a call during the break so you're ready to go after the break.
That's right.
So we seem to end up talking about raids that go wrong. And I had a huge back and forth with somebody locally who is all for the drug war. Recently here we've had some city council meetings, which is why I've been out a couple times recently, that were for decrim of marijuana, nixing the paraphernalia ordinance. They rammed through a quote-unquote synthetic marijuana, which we all know it's not. It is just a list of random chemicals that anybody who voted to pass the bill has no idea what's actually in the bill because they're not frickin' chemists. That was friggin' ridiculous, too.
Yeah, what is it? I keep hearing about that, and I'm like, what the hell is synthetic marijuana?
Yeah, this is just synthetic derivatives of I don't know how to say that. Cannabinoids.
Cannabinoids or whatever?
Yeah.
I can't pronounce it right either.
Yeah, so it's all synthetic derivatives of that. And the language is ridiculous. It's all in chemical terms. Like, all this chemistry. Like, anybody who passed it would have no idea what it says. Any law enforcement officer has no idea what it actually says. And there's no field tests for this crap. So it's like, how are you even going to be able to enforce this law, let alone know what's actually in it? Because who knows? Some of these chemicals might be naturally occurring in some random plant that we have no idea. It might be in a freaking tomato. This thing's so friggin' long and derives out so far. It's crazy, like isotopes and salts and all these weird, all these chemical names that nobody would have any idea what's in there. But, so that's been
You're gonna
going
lose
through
half of your spice rack in your kitchen.
Right, exactly. So I'm trying to figure out a way to troll them. So they have to send it into the state crime lab, and they're like, oh, it's basil. Oh, it's some crushed up maple leaves or something like that. Because they would never know. They had no idea how. They have no way of testing this in the field. The only way they could do it is if they sent it into the freaking crime lab. And I'm curious how much that costs just to test a substance through the crime lab. Because it's drugs, they're going to push it ahead of like rape cases and whatnot.
Well, of course, now, yes.
I mean, that seems to be the way. And yeah. So how did I even get into this? Oh, we'll get back to it. Unfortunately, we have to go to break. But there's more after the break. You'll listen to the CopBlock Radio Show on FPRN.
There is a house in New Orleans.
Mr. President, members of Congress, you've been making a lot of noise about taking our guns away. But you might want to review history. 1835, Gonzales, Texas Territory. The authorities wanted to confiscate the big gun that protected that colony. You know what the people said? Come and take it. Because they were willing to fight for their freedom and their guns. So are we.
Come and take it if you want it. Come and take it if you think you can. Come and take it, but I warn you, you'll have to pry it from my cold dead hands. We want the freedom that God gave us, so you best not cross that line. If you want this gun, you gotta come through us and take it.
One shot at a time. Just like Gonzales, we're keeping our guns.
Do you have a group or organization founded on the principles of personal liberty, health freedom, or accountable government? We invite you to check out Same Side Entertainment. Get connected with leaders in the liberty movement like Tom Woods, Kevin Gutzman, Jack Hunter, Robert Scott Bell, Michael Scheuer, and many more. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and our website at www.samesideentertainment.com. Again, that's www.samesideentertainment.com. Same Side Entertainment, connecting you with the education and resources you need.
In every age, a technology is created that upends the foundations of society. The wheel, the printing press, the internet. Now, in a world sliding into financial chaos, a new technology is changing the way monetary systems work around the world. It is called Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a new form of money, controlled not by banks, governments, or corporations, but through mutual commerce between free individuals. To learn more, visit weusecoins.com.
Talk about a wake-up call. I was paying for all the doctor's visits, insurance premiums, and medical costs out of pocket. All these expenses were keeping me from living the carefree lifestyle that I wanted. Then the government told me about Obamacare. Now with Obamacare, I don't worry about my health care. I eat whatever I want, whenever I want. I get all my prescription drugs for free, and there's no more coverage gap. I no longer need to worry about pre-existing conditions. We can see any doctor whenever we want for any reason, and so can everyone else.
Obamacare is not for everyone, like Congressman. If you are already healthy, do not use Obamacare, as you will see your premiums go up. If you are a sick person, do not use Obamacare, as you will see your premiums go up. Many people on Obamacare may experience longer wait times and fewer doctors, and denial of your treatment of choice. If you are faced with a healthcare situation, you may be denied treatment through government rationing.
Obamacare even covers my kids up to age 26.
If you experience a recession lasting more than 4 years, stop taking Obamacare and contact a travel agent to move to the Bahamas or New Zealand.
And the best thing is that Obamacare is free.
Obamacare is not free. Obamacare will increase the national debt by $863 billion in 10 years. Your taxes will go up $569 billion by 2019. If you see a major jump in your premiums, you should opt out of Obamacare immediately. Opting out of Obamacare is illegal and will incur major fines and penalties unless you are a union member who received a special waiver from the Obama administration. Obama is not responsible for the negative effects on the economy, your pocketbook, your freedoms, or your health.
Obama solved all my problems.
Obamacare. Live your carefree lifestyle.
Nothing is more American than diamond gusset jeans. 100% American made since 1987. Soft and broken in from the start, yet more rugged and durable than any jean you've ever worn. Have you ever experienced missized jeans from China? Well, you won't with Diamond Gusset. Every pair is crafted to fit exactly the same and always feel like they were custom made. Need a 35, 37, or 39 waist? How about a 31 inseam? We keep all sizes in stock for the fit you need. Looking for a relaxed fit, slim fit, regular fit, boot cut, or straight leg? We got you covered. Buy the world's best fitting jeans at gusset.com or call 1-888-8GUSSET. Get free Gusset targets for the next time you go to the shooting range with the purchase of their new Ranger jean. Use code COMFORT when ordering to receive free shipping on all Gusset orders at gusset.com. That's gusset.com to get only the best all-American jeans.
Thanks for listening to FPRN. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter. If you'd like to start your own show with FPRN, advertise with us, or donate to the network or to your favorite shows, check out our website at www.fprnradio.com.
And I can't stand for something that I don't believe.
And welcome back to the CopBlock Radio Show on FPRN and syndicated across the interwebs, or you can download us as a podcast after the show at FPRNradio.com. You can just go into the archives. And if you are listening to us as a podcast, know that we do this show on Wednesday nights at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. So you can join us live in the chat room, or you can give us a call and, you can talk about what you want. I'd like to give a thanks to our sponsor, Diamond Gusset, for sticking with us, and you can go check them out over at gusset.com. They make really cool jeans with some extra fabric in the crotch area, so you won't get squished, which is nice. And they have
you can get kicked in the nuts and you'll be all right.
Well, yeah, they got some Kevlar. They have a pair of jeans that has some Kevlar. I'm not sure if it's in that particular spot, and I'm not sure how well that's going to stop a kick. But if you're riding down the road on your motorcycle and you have to lay it down or something, it's got some Kevlar to protect your knees and your buttocks. And some other vital areas that you want to keep intact and unscraped. So you can go check them at gusset.com. Oh, and they have between sizes. So if you need like a 33 or 35, they can hook you up, because that's really annoying if the one size is too big and the next size down is too small. That kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But anyways, gusset.com. Go check them out. Oh, and they're 100% American made and grown and sewn, as I like to say. Grown and sewn in America. But you know what's not American? Fucking Obamacare.
Not at all.
I know. I love that commercial that plays during the break.
Too.
I just got a letter, a little packet from my employer saying that starting 2015, they're dropping my insurance coverage. The current plan that I use, because of friggin' Obamacare. So Obamacare can suck it, because they're going to make me pay way more in health coverage than I already am.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people understand what that's really going to do.
I know the biggest thing that sucks is the plan that I have now is pre-tax.
Mm-hmm.
The plan that I have to go through in the future is going to be post-tax, which means I have to fill out all this fucking paperwork to get my taxes back that, for all my medical coverage, because they're taxing my income, and that after-tax income is what I have to use to pay for my medical expenses. So then I have to fill out all the IRS crap at the end of the year to get my friggin' income tax back for what I paid in healthcare. It's freaking ridiculous. It pisses me off.
Wow. Yeah, my wife got a letter the other day from her employer about that too.
And it says right on it, due to the Affordable Care Act. It's like, no, this is the
Unaffordable Care Act.
Freaking A. Did you see that meme going around that had, I love Obamacare, blah, 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 blah. And then, it's a year and a half later, it was a tweet from some senator, and then a year and a half later, they're like, my health insurance premiums are going up, and my health insurance provider didn't tell me why. It's like facepalm right there. It's like,
complete facepalm.
You know exactly why they're going up.
Yep.
Yeah. Freaking ridiculous.
So, we got some notice from the producers. We got another caller on the line?
Sweet.
What is it, Adam?
Yeah, what's up, man?
What's going
We got
on?
second Adam on the line.
Yeah, second Adam.
Adam number 2. What's up? What do you got for us?
I'm just calling about something that's going on in my area. You guys know about police entering people's homes when like the door is cracked, or like they just enter a home and they just see like a door is cracked and they just say hello, hello, and then they just enter the home. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah. I have. If the door's open, they just kind of invite themselves in.
Yeah. Well, there was a guy here in the local where I live at, and he had his. It was a very windy day. It was a 50. I'm reading the newspaper article now. It was a 50-mile-per-hour wind day, and the police, all the information that they had was that a door was open, and so they approached the home, and then they called out, and then when they went inside, of course, they found marijuana and cocaine and child pornography and things like this. And the judge just recently said that it was justified and they had reasonable. He gave them reasonable suspicion to enter the home, and it just really saddens me that these judges make decisions like this, and I don't think they even think about the consequences. Like what would this mean like 20 years from now, or how like liberal the cops will now take this when they understand that they can just enter a home when your door is cracked when the wind's blowing 50 miles per hour outside.
Yeah, it's kind of...
It just makes you feel like
they seem to interpret it really loosely, and when... I guess even back when I went through civics and all that jazz, that searching and whatnot required some sort of specific thing that you were looking for, not just walking into a home and seeing what's there. So I don't think they had reasonable suspicion that there were drugs in the house. That couldn't have been their reasonable suspicion. They might have had, they're like, hey, a door's open. Well, there's no reasonable suspicion of a crime having occurred. The least that they could say is that maybe the house had been robbed. If that was the case, then they would be going in only looking for evidence of robbery. Anything that they find beyond that is poisoned fruit.
Well, yeah. You go and you check for the robber, and if there's no robbery, you lock up and walk out.
Right. They believe the robbery had taken place, and so that's why they justified entering the home.
Right, but anything that they found after that not pertaining to their robbery then is junk and shouldn't have been brought into court to begin with, because they may have had a reasonable suspicion to enter the home to see if it had been robbed, but not a reasonable suspicion to see if there were drugs in the house. So anything that they weren't specifically going in for originally is garbage to begin with, and is just is
well, not according to this judge.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, that's the problem. It's starting to get looser and looser of what can be brought in, even though it is clearly poison fruit to begin with, and is ineligible to even be brought forward because they weren't going in specifically looking for drugs. They were going into... They went under the pretense of that the place looked like it had been robbed. Well, it hadn't been robbed, so they had no reason to go into the house. They had nothing after that to bring towards to the homeowner. But yeah, it's really screwed up.
Which just means that if a cop is just thinking that a crime is going on in your home, then that's enough reason for him to act upon it. He doesn't even have to see it. As long as he something's going on. And that's what it's going to end up being, is that our homes are not even going to be private spaces anymore, where they're just thinking that something's going on in our home. And that's the way it is already for the most part. From what I can tell when I read, and I'm sure you guys would agree, that it's our privacy, even in our own homes, is declining all the time. And but I appreciate the guy, you guys' work and everything. I could talk to you about this little incident I had yesterday with a police officer as well.
Go for it.
I was talking to him about natural rights of man. Well, I was doing some campaigning for a governor that I wanted to be elected in our state, and I was out at the public institution. I was at the university, and as I was passing out cards at the football game, the officer was standing there and he was yelling through his megaphone. He said, "Everyone prepare to be searched, prepare to open your bags, prepare to be searched, open your bags." And so I walked up to him and I said, "Well, don't you think your job could be replaced by a sign?" And he didn't like me saying that too much, and he put his blowhorn in my face and he says, "Move away, sir." And so I just started telling people to obey all the orders that he was giving. I was screaming out, "Obey all your orders!" And I was saying, "Get ready to bend over and spell run." R-U-N. And he got pretty pissed. And of course, that university is a no gun zone.
Of course.
And so I asked another officer. I said, "What would you do to me if I had a gun on my side like you do?" And he said, he was really pissed at me, and he said, "Just move away from me. Don't talk to me." And then the other officer who I originally had spoken to, he said, "You better get off this campus or I'll take you off this campus." And so, of course, when he said that, I didn't want to be beat up or anything, so I just kind of just kept walking away. But I did file a complaint on the officer, and I said I didn't really see where he had the right to tell me that he could remove me from the campus just because he didn't like what I was saying or what I was doing. And so I had to meet with the sergeant yesterday, and we had a long talk about how I didn't really believe in borders and how I didn't really consent to their jurisdiction and those kinds of things that I was saying that I really just don't consent to what you are doing, and I've never signed a contract and saying that I'm subject, and I don't believe that I am a subject, and I choose when I am a citizen, and I choose when I'm subject to your jurisdiction.
Yeah, it gets really hairy when it comes to colleges and universities and whatnot. I know I have a huge problem I lived in Columbus, Ohio, and Ohio State is there. Well, there's nothing that really marks where Ohio State's property starts and ends. There's so many roads that go through it. You could be walking down the road and not realize that you are actually on campus because the road is actually part of the campus. They patrol that area. Sure. It's not public property, even though there is nothing that said that you're entering you're entering public property, or you're entering private property, or you're entering the campus or whatever, and they're spread out all over the place. So it's like you need to know the owner of each parcel of land and know if the street is part of the campus property or not. Because if you were, say, open carrying down the sidewalk in Columbus, you're fine. But the second you cross some weird line, even though it appears as a public roadway and you are constantly using it as such, and it's plowed by the city, and it has a regular city street sign, and it's regularly named, and it's has street lights and all that jazz, suddenly you're on campus property, you could have a big problem because now you're actually on the jurisdiction of the campus police and not the Columbus City Police. It's really weird how it works like that. And with college campuses, you can never know, is this public property, private property, kind of the weird hybrid that I was mentioning, that, the road is traveled by everybody through the campus constantly, and you don't realize that the road is actually the college's road and not the city's road. It's really screwed up like that.
Well, it's important that even if you don't consider yourself a citizen and don't consider yourself subject to, everybody else does, pretty much. And especially the guys with those guns, and especially with the guys with the badges and the judges. And they're all going to consider you a citizen and subject to, so it's really hard to be in the system that we're in when we don't really even want to be in that system in the first place. And being born does not make you a citizen. And
right. It's hard to argue that you're not taking up you're not on a specific location on the earth. It's kind of hard to not be on within, some sort of weird boundary or anything like that. And everybody's laid claim to every piece of land on the planet. So somebody has some sort of ownership claim that they make, even if it's not actually owned by a person. It's owned by some fictional government entity. It's really messed up, having like a patchwork of all these rules where you cross an imaginary line and suddenly the rule that was 5 feet behind you is not the same as 5 feet in front of you.
Right. Well, man, it's good talking with y'all, and
thanks a lot. Yeah, it's a good topic to bring up about the cops walking into houses if the jar is adored.
There you go.
The door is adored.
Well, I was really calling to say really just to, if anybody's listening, we can't even leave our doors open anymore, because you take a nap in the summertime and leave the door open, who knows what'll happen when you wake up.
And I guess it really depends on where you live, probably, if it's more likely to happen than other places. I know where I grew up.
That's speaking contemporary. That's speaking contemporarily, but I'm talking about 20 years from now. How this will just increase. The power over our lives. It's not going to stop. It isn't like, all right, it has to know that we've said this. It'll stop now. It'll never stop. This will never stop. So their control and their attempt at control anyway will never stop. And this is just another building block, and until they have us all slaved up, probably.
Yeah, I think overall it is a issue of money. If they don't if somehow we can start withholding all these resources and not handing them over to the people who are trying to get them, we might have a little more chance to slowly start to reduce. Because if they can't pay these guys, then they won't be there.
You mean breaking out of the Federal Reserve System?
Well, even that too. But in general, property taxes are one of the biggest threats to our freedom, I guess, because property taxes are what ultimately pay for police departments and stuff like that. Even though you don't want these services, or the services that you completely disagree with, that you're forced to pay for just simply because you own a piece of property or you own your house or something like that. It's one of those ridiculous things, but
or you just live on the earth. I said, or you just live on the earth. Like if you're just a poor person that has nothing at all, you still should be secure, at least in your own body and your own piece of, your own property and your own self. If you have nothing
that's
at
how
all,
it should be, but that's not how the people with the big guns let it be. They don't want it to be like that, so we're kind of at a conflict at that point. Hopefully I will soon be moving to a town that just voted to get rid of their only cop, so I'll be moving to a town that actually has no police, which will be awesome.
What state? Where is that at?
It's in New Hampshire.
Okay. Is that Keene?
I'm in Keene right now. Westmoreland recently got rid of the only cop that they had. There's a town outside of Keene called Stoddard. They only have a part-time cop, like 20 hours, and that's it. So essentially they have no cop. He only goes out on calls. He doesn't actually patrol, so that's nice. That'd be great if people only went out on calls. That'd be awesome. If it was only for actual, calls for victims, but
when actually needed.
Right.
Right.
Instead of searching around hoping to find somebody.
Actually comes forth, it says that I've been made a victim of.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yes.
So when there actually is a victim, yes.
Right.
All right, guys. Well, I'll let you go.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for calling in,
you
man.
guys have a good night. All right, thank you. Oh, yeah, I appreciate it. And I've been enjoying the show, and you guys do a good job. And I really appreciate you guys for getting out there and filming the cops. I mean, because I haven't got the balls yet to do that, okay? So I'm
scary.
working that up. Because
it's a learning process.
I don't want to get beat up or anything. I don't want to get beat up, and I don't want to get arrested.
It would. I think it has a lot to do with where you are and what type of cops you have around.
But I do got a lot of respect for that, and just do it safe. Just be safe.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Adam, for calling in.
All right, man. Later.
So, I guess the original topic that he brought up about cops going into houses if the door is ajar, which is really messed up that they even do that.
It is.
But it brings back what we've seen a lot in our Friday night cop blocks, that the cops think they're on one side of the coin and everybody else is the other.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everybody else is everybody else is a criminal.
Well, I don't even think it's that. I think it's a lot of it is, I'm a total different entity than you. I'm not a civilian. I am a police officer. That makes me better than you, and I get to rule you.
Right. Well, I think more it's they see everybody as dollar signs. I can write you a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
If I can write you a ticket, I'm doing my job. So I'm going to figure out what I can write a ticket for.
I have to find a way to make it so it looks like I'm doing my job.
Right. Which is completely backwards. You should be giving a friggin' medal to the guy who does the least amount of ticketing. That's the guy I want, getting
hire
the promotions
him here in my
and whatnot.
city. No.
The person who does the least amount of stupid ticketing, friggin' revenue generating. That's really all it is. If they're actually going after criminals and making arrests for people who actually hurt others, then I would be perfectly fine. But that's not what they do. They are constantly going around picking on people for doing something contrary to some words on a piece of paper that some guys who you've never met wrote down and say, this is how it is. And if you do the opposite of this piece of paper, then you are going to jail. Or it's so stupid.
Yes.
I mean, that's what here is constantly like the open container. That's kind of the biggest one of ridiculousness. It's like, how can somebody having an open container of alcohol in public be a crime? That's one of the most ridiculous crimes in the world. Yes. I don't know how they can even justify this as being for the public good, when the way it's applied is how we were talking about earlier. Simply, the college kid is going from the house he's in to the house across the street. That's it. Why is he getting ticketed for that? He's not doing anything to anybody. He's simply crossing the street on a side street with no traffic, perfectly safe. There's no reason to give him a ticket other than to give him a ticket. That's the only reason, is just so you can say, hey, I wrote somebody a ticket.
Yeah, you didn't like, oh, I protected someone from this evil college kid with his beer.
Yeah, that one's always funny. Friggin', we're keeping you safe. What are you keeping me safe from? You're not doing crap. You're giving me a fucking ticket for having a beer on the sidewalk. What are you protecting me from? Because you're the one who I need protection from, because you're the one who's giving me a ransom note and who's going to enforce it with big guns if I refuse to follow your commands. It's insane. At this point, it's all about money or revenue generating, or the. I really wanted. I wish I could play that clip, but the audio kind of sucked from Nathan from Peaceful Streets Project Sandusky, where he was doing the female generator hunter in the Australian accent. I don't know if you've seen that video, but it's so funny. He's like, as we see here, is the elusive female revenue generator. You can notice the jingling of her handcuffs. That is the mating call of the female revenue generator. Anyways, talking about revenue generating, I got some interesting stuff that just came out today in regards to that. So we'll talk about that when we come back. You are listening to the CopBlock Radio Show on FPRN.
The masturbation, the home invasions, the CPS.
Tired of living in a violent society? If every citizen was armed, no one would be dumb enough to shoot people. It's exactly the ethos our founding fathers had when they wrote the Constitution and then changed it, which is what makes it sacred now. Come mingle with safety-minded people like you at the Liberty City Gun Club. Our nation is still the world leader in one thing: armaments. Nothing says excitement like a night out with a small caliber semi-automatic weapon. Get social at the Liberty City Gun Club.
Well, yeah, it's getting tough out there. Yeah, no doubt. I work in home invasions mostly. Some murder, occasional rape if she's hot, or really bitchy. And I'm a huge advocate of gun control. Absolutely. Every time I kick in a door or smash a window, I face the possibility of being shot and killed. Allowing citizens to own guns creates a hostile work environment for me and my associates. No one should have to work under those conditions. I say make them all illegal. Absolutely. I mean, I break the law for a living. I'm a professional, so it doesn't really bother me. No doubt. No doubt.
Your local violent criminals work hard and put their lives on the line every time they attempt to murder, rape, abduct, or assault a member of the citizenry. They desperately need your help. With your support, there may finally come a day when a violent criminal can have his way with you or someone you love without the fear, anxiety, and stress caused by knowing there's a possibility his victim might be armed. Please show your support by voting for stronger anti-gun legislation, because criminals prefer unarmed citizens.
Nothing is more American than Diamond Gusset jeans. 100% American made since 1987. Soft and broken in from the start, yet more rugged and durable than any jean you've ever worn. Have you ever experienced missized jeans from China? Well, you won't with Diamond Gusset. Every pair is crafted to fit exactly the same and always feel like they were custom made. Need a 35, 37, or 39 waist? How about a 31 inseam? We keep all sizes in stock for the fit you need. Looking for a relaxed fit, slim fit, regular fit, boot cut, or straight leg? We got you covered. Buy the world's best fitting jeans at Gusset.com or call 1-888-8GUSSET. Get free Gusset targets for the next time you go to the shooting range with the purchase of their new Ranger jean. Use code COMFORT when ordering to receive free shipping on all Gusset orders at Gusset.com. That's Gusset.com to get only the best all-American jeans.
Do you have a group or organization founded on the principles of personal liberty, health freedom, or accountable government? We invite you to check out Same Side Entertainment. Same Side is a source for activists and liberty organizations to connect with well-known leaders in today's growing movement for sustainable living, personal liberty, and sovereignty issues. Same Side has a variety of keynote speakers, debate panels, interactive web presentations, musicians, and liberty-based entertainment, as well as services for web design, graphic design, video, and photography. Same Side can help customize your event by connecting you to the best of the liberty and political world while staying within your budget. Get connected with leaders in the liberty movement like Tom Woods, Kevin Gutzman, Jack Hunter, Robert Scott Bell, Bob Murphy, Michael Scheuer, John Bush, Jordan Page, Tatiana Moroz, and many more. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and our website at www.samesideentertainment.com. Again, that's www.samesideentertainment.com. Same Side Entertainment, connecting you with the education and resources you need.
To think something so small could control you.
And everything you do. When your life and all you love are on the line.
The RFID chip is always with you, threatening your privacy, causing severe risk to your health and personal safety, and killing you if you do not obey rogue government demands.
Because I want to increase my risk of cancer.
Because I want to live in a cash-free society.
Because now the government is looking out for us.
Because I have the mark of the beast, but it doesn't have me.
Ask your doctor how to get your chip implanted today.
Because we want to track your every move.
Thanks for listening to FPRN. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter. If you'd like to start your own show with FPRN, advertise with us, or donate to the network or to your favorite shows, check out our website at www.fprnradio.com.
Welcome back to the CopBlock Radio Show on FPRN. Be sure to know, if you're listening to this on the podcast, we do this show live on Wednesday night at 9:30 Eastern. So you can check that out, and there's a live chat, and you can call in and, talk to us, see what's going on. So anyways, before the break, we were talking about the revenue generating that seems to be the goal of policing today and whatnot. They write statutes specifically to extract money. It's basically like a hidden tax, I guess you could say, that you may be doing. You may be breaking the law so often that you're just paying the state because they're threatening you. They just need more reasons to get more money from you. So we've talked about in the past the Robin Hooding case in Keene, which is a bunch of people go around and they find a parking enforcer and they go ahead of the parking enforcer and put coins into meters of expired meters. So once they come to the meter, the person who's parked there is no longer in violation of the law, so they can't write them a ticket because they're not in violation of anything. So, just came out today. Well, so they were sued. Well, they're being sued, and the city is asking for like a buffer zone around the parking enforcers, like 30, 50 feet, to keep the Robin Hooders away. And they had claimed in the past that it's not about revenue, but a new lawsuit, even that lawsuit is still continuing, and as actually the evidentiary hearing is day 2 and 3 are going to be this coming Monday and Tuesday. They had one about a month ago, like one day, and one day was not enough considering how many witnesses and whatnot were involved. So anyways, the lawsuit isn't even over, and it's coming up to continue on Monday and Tuesday. Well, the city just filed a second lawsuit against the same people, except this time they're seeking monetary damages. And
are you serious?
Yeah.
They want this money, don't they?
Right. So they are, they currently have one lawsuit going around saying that, they want this buffer zone, blah, 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 blah. And right there, they're going to lose based on First Amendment rights, that they are engaging in political speech, so they can't be stopped because the parking enforcer doesn't like what they're saying. But
not even that. It's how are you going to put a buffer zone around a public official?
Right, a floating buffer
up to him,
which has already been ruled unconstitutional because there's no way you can have a floating buffer zone around these people. I mean, if that was the case, then are they required to remove themselves if they come across somebody who's just standing there? If I was standing there on the sidewalk, right, and the parking enforcer was walking down the sidewalk, and I was just standing on the sidewalk minding my own business. Is it my responsibility to move out of the buffer zone because the parking enforcer is walking towards me, or is it their responsibility to stay away from me?
Well, there you go. See, then all you guys got to do is just set yourselves up perfectly positioned throughout the city near parking meters, and the parking enforcer can't come near any of the meters.
That's what I was thinking. You could pretty much post activists every, well, if the buffer zone is 50 feet, that means you can post an activist every 100 feet.
Yep.
Which would pretty much, you'd only need like 6 of them to cover the entire downtown area. So you could just have 6 activists stand there.
Get some lawn chairs and sit down.
Get some lawn chairs and sit down. Yeah, there you go. So anyways, now they filed a second lawsuit against the same people, and now they're seeking monetary damages. It's basically a rehash of the first lawsuit, yet this time they are seeking monetary damages even before the first one's over, which is really messed up. And there's a possibility that, or there's at least some inkling that they may drop the first case at some point before they get a ruling, because they know they're going to get shellacked in constitutional grounds anyways. Mm-hmm. So now they're trying to extract money, and they're asking for a jury trial instead of the current bench trial that's going on. So they're asking for a civil jury trial, and they're hoping to, use the public, basically use the
people they're trying to steal from to help them.
Right, they're basically they're trying to use a poisoned jury pool. The jury pool is already tainted because everybody in town knows who these guys are, and there's a lot of people who don't like them, and that seems to be the majority of the statists who don't like them. And anybody who's going to be in favor of them is going to get tossed off the jury in 2 seconds anyway. So they're going to try to get the people who are all, bow down to the state, and the state's always right. Type of people to get them. So they want a jury trial instead of a judge, instead of a bench trial, because they know the judge is just going to shellac them in friggin' in constitutional errors and whatnot. So they're hoping that the uninformed jury can basically impose this ridiculous lawsuit against them. So
now, how much are they asking out of monetary?
Don't know. They didn't put they didn't put a figure on it, which is one thing I pointed out, which is great because they're asking for attorney's fees. So somebody should ask, well, how much is the attorney's fees? And that will be a great thing to publish, to say to the people in Keene, look how much money the city of Keene is wasting on all these hotshot attorneys.
Well, that's what I'm like. How much money have they wasted already trying to do this already?
I mean, just quick calculations. You think about the 1 day of evidentiary hearing was, 8 hours, and there were like 3 attorneys. So you think they're probably all billing, $300 each. I mean, we're talking close to $10,000 just in so far. I mean, $10,000 is probably a lowball figure too. It's probably much higher than that.
For the 1 day.
for just the 1 day, because I'm sure they've charged for all the paperwork and filings and all that jazz, and to consult and all that. So it's got to be well over $10,000 already that they've spent, because
so you got 2 more days coming up.
Right. So that's going to be interesting. They're claiming that one of the parking enforcers has since quit being a parking enforcer, and they're blaming it on the Robin Hooders. But of course, this guy has left his past 2 other jobs under not very favorable circumstances either. So this is his 3rd job in a row that he's left under this type of claim of stress or whatever. So it's like, well, you're you work for the public. What did you expect? You
think people are just going to walk around and give you high fives all day for riding tickets?
Right. And the city's trying to claim that they are doing this to avoid the employees suing the city for harassment, which makes no friggin' sense. Because if you think about it in any other business sense, say you were working for Walmart and you were harassed by a customer,
would
you sue Walmart?
Yeah,
Walmart
you
had
don't
nothing
sue
to
the
do
company
with it.
then.
Right, that makes no sense. In what other business could a employee sue the company they're working for because of a customer's harassment? That makes no sense at all. I mean, the only time I've ever seen a harassment case go through is because either other basically because other employees or suppliers of the company were harassing the said employee. That's the only time I've ever seen a harassment complaint go through is that type of situation where those inside the company and actual company dealings are doing the harassing, not that a customer has been harassing. That makes no sense at all. So that's what they're claiming right now. So
what about the fact that they're trying to claim it because the fact that the city's not doing anything about it, then they could sue the city, saying the city isn't protecting me.
Right.
But even then, you're protecting them from the public. You work for the public. There is no protecting there. Now, if it was a different private company, maybe.
And they don't have a harassment claim anyways because there is a crime of harassment. So they have not been charged or arrested with criminal harassment. So if that's the case, if they are truly being harassed, then why aren't they
harassment charges
being arrested and charged? I mean, they'd much rather have a criminal case than a friggin' civil case any day.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's not like they're going to extract any money from these guys anyways. They don't have any. So I don't even know why they're bothering suing for monetary damages when they're not going to get anything. So yeah, it's really messed up. So the first case isn't even over, and they've already filed a second, but it's a rehash of the first pretty much, which...
the first one didn't work,
so this whole case, they've now probably prolonged the time it's going to take for this case to happen. On another note, though, there have been two people who have filed to intervene on the first Robin Hood case. So they have filed to be added to the defendants. So, which is a totally funny thing, because if you've seen the thing, Pierre, who's the co-founder of CopBlock, he has been caught up in this original lawsuit, and no one really knows why, other than the city knows who he is and they don't like him. That's really the only reason he's in the lawsuit to begin with. They claim that, he actively Robin Hoods, which he doesn't do, and the only evidence that they had was that there was one time where one of the parking enforcers basically waved at him and said, "Here I am," while he was sitting on a park bench, and he just radioed to the other activists that, "Hey, I just saw the parking enforcer, he's going this way." And he tried to talk to talk to a parking enforcer when he happened to be walking down the sidewalk downtown. That's it. He wasn't actively seeking the person out either. So he's been added to, he's basically spaghetti against the wall, see what sticks type of defendant in this case. So there's been two people who have filed because his motion to dismiss was denied by the judge. Two people have filed to intervene, which they're basically asking to be added to the defendants list because they have actively Robin Hooded more than once and are on video doing so. So the first, one of those people filed about a week and a half ago, and his motion to intervene was denied, which now he's going to, appeal that decision and make mention of, well, they're keeping Pete on the case because he did this and this. Well, I should definitely be added to the case because I've actively Robin Hooded. I've done everything that Pete's done, and I'm on video doing it. So we'll see how it goes. So either they have to drop Pete or they have to add this other person because, the same reason they're keeping Pete is the same reason they're denying this other person, which makes no sense at all. So they're basically trying to pick and choose their defendants. And in the original lawsuit, they did say, and respondents unknown. So they even had filed suit against people that they didn't even know who existed. Yeah, that's what it said. That was the last person that they said. They said respondents unknown. Work? So he's now in his appeal going to point out that he's one of the respondents unknown. So we'll see how it goes. So there's one person who's already been denied. He's finally appealed. There's a second person who just filed the intervention to get himself added. Nothing's been ruled on that yet, and it was really funny because in the first evidentiary hearing, when one of the parking enforcers, Linda, was testifying about an incident, she pointed out somebody in the gallery, not one of the defendants, for the incident she was talking about. So it's like, man, you hotshot lawyers really suck. Why are you asking questions why are you asking questions of your own witness that you don't already know the answers to? I mean, this is ridiculous. These guys are like supposed to be hotshot professional, lawyers. They've been brought in by the city to take care of this case because the city attorney couldn't handle it on its own. So they bring in this lawyer, and they're asking questions that they don't already know the answers to of their own witnesses, which makes no sense at all. You are a really crappy lawyer if you're asking questions you don't know the answers to. Mm-hmm. So it was really funny when she pointed out somebody who wasn't actually a defendant.
Now, are they still actively Robin Hooding, or have they stopped
every day
because of the case?
Every day.
Nice.
Yep. Oh, and the best thing is, though, now Saturdays are free. Nobody enforces parking on Saturdays. So for the past 5 weeks, there has been no Saturday enforcement.
Nice. So the city's kind of given up.
Yeah. So what the parking enforcement said is refusing to work Saturdays. So now that's in the new lawsuit that they had to modify a schedule because of them. Because of the Robin Hooders, they modified a schedule.
Wow.
And yeah, they're claiming all this prevention of doing their duties. It's like, no, they're not stopping them from checking the meters. They can check the meters all they want. What's their actual job? Is it to generate revenue, or is it to make sure people are in compliance with the meters? If it's checking people that are in compliance with the meters, they're not being prevented from doing that. If their job is to write tickets and they rely on people breaking this rule, then their job is reliant on people, messing up or whatever. So they're not being prevented from reading the meter and looking at the meter. If the meter is not expired, then what's the problem? Mm-hmm. How it became not expired is not really the concern of the parking enforcement or anything like that. I mean,
if anything, that just shows that your citizens of your city are awesome because everybody keeps their meters full.
I think early on when we started the show, I talked about some city out west where they installed all the credit card readers on the meters, and the fines dropped like $4.5 million in a year. So they end up with a budget shortfall because they were relying on all these fines. But now that they have parking meters with credit card acceptors, people are paying their parking with plenty of time, and they're not running out of parking. So they're not writing all these crazy tickets. So it's like, why would you budget on the reliance of people ignoring your law?
Pay their meter.
Well, yeah, why would you budget reliant on fines? That makes no sense. You should be budgeted reliant on legitimate revenue, and then any fines is deducted from your budget,
Well, yeah, it's bonus, yeah.
Right.
Cool, we need extra money, Not we're relying on this money.
Right, but unfortunately this town is spending so much money that they need the fines and the revenue. So they need the combination.
You got to pay for that Bearcat.
Right, exactly. That hasn't seen any action at all and is just sitting in the frickin' parking lot. Yeah. I mean, this town makes, there's no reason for me to stay in this town. once my house sells in Columbus, then there's no reason for me to stay in Keene because the taxes are freaking ridiculous. When I can move into a town that borders Keene and pay half to a third of the property taxes. I mean, it's ridiculous. There's no reason why I would stay in Keene just to get raped by the tax man.
No, why is the taxes different? Is it a population difference or?
We don't have a sales tax in New Hampshire, so property taxes are the only thing that pay.
That's like Oregon then,
right? I think New Hampshire and Oregon are like the only two states that don't have sales tax. So basically, property tax is the only thing we have. We don't have income tax either.
You don't have an income tax?
We don't have a personal income tax either.
Okay.
So we only pay federal income tax, and that's it. So all the taxes that are generated for the town are based on fees, fines, and property taxes. That's really it. And the state, like, a little bit goes to the state, and it's only a small amount. It's like 3 or 4%. So, that or $3 or $4 per thousand is the tax rate. So, the state's is extremely low. You know, it's only $3 or $4 per thousand, which is extremely cheap.
Yes.
But each town assesses their own property taxes for the rest of the services in that town. Keene is frickin' spending like a drunken sailor, and they're up to $33 per thousand, which is an extremely high property tax rate. For anybody who knows their property tax rate broken down in that format, they know that is crazy high. I mean, for a house that I paid $2,000 in taxes for in Columbus, you are going to pay $7,000 a year here, easy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's insane. And you get way less services. Like in Columbus, I got trash pickup and all types of other city services. Here, we don't even have trash pickup. Like, trash pickup is not included in our taxes. It's like, well, what the hell am I paying taxes for? You're not doing anything other than maintaining some roads and school. School is like $128 million of the city budget. It's insane.
You guys have a lottery there then?
We do.
Now, does that fund the school?
Not really.
No?
I think, so the school's total budget is something like $128 million for the school system. And there's only, like, there's less than 3,000 kids in the school system. So it's $128 million, and the city gets $64 million from the state. So the state income tax basically covers half of the overall education system in Keene, which if you went back and looked at some of the school board videos, you would find out that $64 million covers the education of children. The other $64 million is everything else. So really, what the city puts into it is all everything else besides education. So it's like all extracurricular sports and all that jazz. So it's insane that we're paying double what the state's already giving us. So school is huge. School is like $14 per thousand, which is nuts. I mean, $14 per thousand should be your entire tax bill, if that. But here, that just covers the school. So it works its way up quick. They spend so much. They spend like drunken sailors. It's insane.
No lie.
So that's why I'm not going to be living in Keene when like I said earlier, I can move to Stoddard, who only has a part-time police officer.
Yeah, that's part-time.
Their tax rate is only $10 per thousand, and they actually go to the Keene school when they get to middle school. So once they get to 6th grade, they come to Keene anyways. So even if I had kids, which I don't, they'd still be coming to Keene if we lived in Stoddard. It's really screwed up why a town outside of Keene pays way less in taxes, but still uses their school. It's just really messed up. So really where I land is going to be dependent on if there's internet broadband and that the taxes are low. Keene is definitely not where I'm going to end up because I don't want to pay the taxes. It's insane.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's like, you gotta stay in Keene. It's like, there's no. Are you gonna pay my tax bill? No. All right.
Yeah, you paying my taxes?
All right. So that's it for the CopBlock Radio Show this week. Hopefully, we have Scott back next week, and then maybe all three of us will actually be on all at once, which will be awesome. So be sure to check us out at the meantime at FPRNradio.com. And remember, until next week, badges don't grant extra rights.
Thanks for listening to FPRN. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter. If you'd like to start your own show with FPRN, advertise with us, or donate to the network or to your favorite shows, check out our website at www.fprnradio.com.
Am I the only one that can feel this way? My oldest been betrayed. This ain't protecting freedom, this is digging in a grave.